Hello, I'm Jim, I'm from Usherwood College, funded by the Wellcome Trust. That's my title and there's my website. Okay, let me take you back 12 months. Maths in Wisconsin, I showed you some quadrupeds. There is a horse. Notice how the forces are pretty vertical and the motions are pretty horizontal. Great, horses can slide along, low work of the legs. How do they do that with muscles? Well, we like linkages. I like linkages. There's a bull bar, and now we're going to worry about the insertion of the patella here. And the trick we have is, let us say that the foot describes a perfectly horizontal path, or the hip goes over the foot perfectly horizontally, so that there are perfectly vertical forces, so there's a perfectly sliding leg. Now let's track the path of the patella, and go, I can support that with muscles that are isometric if each one is loaded when it is perpendicular to the path of the patella. Just geometry. And you get this prediction for where the muscles should be. Boom, 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 boom. Leg gets shorter, legs get longer, muscles don't change length, so the muscles don't do any work. Great, this is 12 months old stuff. More recently I've chopped up a rat. There's a rat without any skin on. I don't know if you can see, but there's a great big bit of fascia that starts off behind the hip and goes off to the kneecap patella. Great, that's one of my tension struts. I show that to my buddies at a vet college, and they point out that in British butchery, the term for the muscle that goes over, which is a joint, but it's a muscle, a cooking joint, is called the silver side. Because on the other side of that, you've got a dirty, great big, whacking great big fascia that you have to cut off before you eat it. So, why is that? Well, perhaps you've got some nice tension struts, and these are the toys you played with, many of you played with last year. You can load each of those muscles inside with just geometry. It happens to match EMG, but you can get these series of 6-bar linkages from dumb geometry. Great, as last year. Now, walking. What we're going to do now is admit that you can go up and down. So you can vault with a stiff leg, that's free. And then I'm going to prescribe a path that is lossless, it's concave. It could be lossless, we don't have any bumps in it. And now I'm going to see the path of my patella and do the same trick about saying, what if your muscles were perpendicular to this path? And you get a walking gait like this. So that's passive, that's easy. Ooh, double stance, great. Vault, ooh, double stance, 6-bar linkages again. Now this is lossless walking. I admit I've got no swing phase, but this is perfectly lossless walking. I thought that was cool. It's appropriate for point mass, the moments at the hip cancel. And you can put in all sorts of geometries, so thank you very much for mentioning tyrannosaurs yesterday. I just thrown some tyrannosaur geometries and you get something, so this could be a point mass tyrannosaur. Isn't that nice? It turns out that you've got, again I'm predicting this muscle that goes from behind the hip to the kneecap. Now it turns out my friend Graham Askew up in Leeds is studying chickens at the moment. Chickens, tyrannosaurs, basically the same thing. And he's finding that this weird muscle that goes from behind the hip to your kneecap is weirdly isometric. Cool, so that's vague support. However, let's move on a bit. Here's a human. First thing to notice is humans walk from left to right. Second thing to notice is our biceps femoris does not start here and end here. It starts here and ends somewhere over here, is that right? So, hello? So, if you go back in the day, we find a key part to the step-to-step transition is smoothing off your collisions. The trouble with this is that they require positive work in no time, so big muscles. So I'm going to do a plastic series of collisions. I'm going to lean on some great ideas from people here that if you've got a bunch of plastic collisions, it is best to distribute them evenly. And with that geometry, I shall fly through this scenario, come to the poster, make the toy. You'll understand the geometry when you do it. But we'll start off vaulting downwards about your ankle. And then my ankle catches, maybe a soleus holds on, and I'll start vaulting around my MTP. And then, how do you do a horizontal motion? Well, we have a nice forebar, we catch here. My ankle here is locked because of a tibialis anterior lock. You'll all be able to make things like this, which goes, ooh, there's a horizontal motion. It's a forebar linkage. That's great. Next one, we're going to incline it slightly up as my foot suddenly discreetly unloads my tibialis anterior because my foot's just hit the ground. So I'm turning I'm having tension on my muscles from just geometric reasons. All the muscles are doing is being under tension when they're their longest, and then they're released when they're not their longest. So I'm now inclined slightly up, and I'll finish off with a vastus holding my knee. If you think about it for a few minutes, which you'll be able to do at my poster, you'll work out that this, to evenly separate these changes in velocity, requires an array of virtual legs. That requires your knee to be halfway down your leg. That's nice, your heel to midfoot to your toe to be in a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1, which is about right for my left foot. Generally, legs as linkage principles applies to your quadrupeds and to your bipeds, and we'll keep our forces perpendicular to velocity, applies to collisional analysis as well. Make sure your muscles aren't doing crazy internal works against each other. And this is a nice one. This setup has your muscles being loaded from geometry, so all your brain has to do is say, be these lengths, and then have reflexes or preflexes go, I lock my joints in series. There we go. One time. Yes! Oh yes, and come and see me. Here's a adapted monogon roller with spokes on that shows very Ruina-like principles, and you can all make some of these. Hello.
How much more important do you think is fascia for passive walking than actual muscle springiness?
I don't see why I need a spring. I'd like to avoid the work in the first place, not recover it. That went well. So yes, a bicycle wheel is great because it's got a pneumatic tyre, you get some elastic recoil as you bounce around them, but it's a wheel first. It avoids the work in the first place. Shall I go? If you've got time, I shall show you a couple more models. So this is the front leg. You go from a 4-bar linkage to 2 different volts, which approximates a straight line. You can use exactly the same lollipop dimensions for a runner. Yes, we know that the ground action forces of a runner go ahead of the hip in early stance, behind the hip in late stance, and you've got the same linkage as, same 3 cases as the front leg of a dog. Now I've done running as well.